Winter is coming, and the road has not smoothed out yet. Game of Thrones Season 5, Episode 6, Unbowed, Unbent, Unbroken. As seems to have been the trend so far this season, there's some good, there's some bad, and it's a mix of the two sides. I suppose I'll start with what's good here. We see the return of Olenna Tyrell. Oh, I was missing her. It's great to have her back. It's great to have her energy, her bluntness. I just love having her back. The instant she showed up, big smile on my face. Also on the positive side of things, Lord Baelish. I know some people really hate him, I think just because of how skeevy he is, and he is skeevy, but he's a skeevy in a way that I really enjoy watching him, and just his ambition continues to amaze me. The scope of it, and also his apparent ability to really push himself towards what he's after. It's astounding, and I still enjoy watching it. Here's a surprise on the positive sides of things. Sansa. She has a moment in this episode, and it is just a moment, but it's been so long in coming where she takes control. She takes control of the situation, and she's not just a pawn, and she puts her own stamp on that moment, and just thank you. Finally. And I wish I could say that I had some more good things to say about this episode, but I kind of don't. And actually, I can sum a lot of it up pretty simply, which is that I've come to realize one of the things that's been bothering me that I haven't been able to put my finger on. One of the things that goes on in this episode as well is that the sort of wheel spinning thing that I've talked about before, but there was something else that I couldn't quite put my finger on what was going on and why it wasn't sitting well with me, and I figured it out. There are too many personal agendas. Now, to clarify that, there have always been personal agendas going on in this show, and pretty much every character has their own agenda going on, but what always made the show fascinating up to this point is those personal agendas were being pursued within the confines of a larger agenda. You know, the battle for the Iron Throne, the struggles at the Wall, Daenerys' conquest of the slaver cities. And you know, within that greater conflict, you would have people with their little personal agendas that they were pursuing. But right now, we don't have the bigger picture. It's just all these little things going on. The only thing that's keeping its eye on the big picture is what's going on up at the wall. But everything else is just these little niggling agendas, and the big picture, the big scheme of things, it isn't there. And it probably wouldn't bother me so much, except season 4 was an epic example of how the little agendas and the little moments affected the big picture. But it doesn't feel like these little agendas are affecting anything greater than just whatever it is the individuals pursuing them are after. And pretty much all of the issues that I would have in this episode fall under that umbrella. I suppose there's two other things that I didn't like that I feel the need to single out. One is that there's a fight scene that just drove me crazy because it's between two characters in very similar outfits to each other fighting against 3 other characters, and those 3 are in very similar outfits to each other, and between that fact and the way that it's cut, it was almost impossible to follow what was going on in that scene. And from what I could make out, it was a cool fight scene with cool choreography, but every time it would cut, I'm like, wait, who am I watching now? And it was just sloppy. And then there's just what happens at the very end of the episode, and I'm not going to mince words on this. I hate it. I really, really hate it. And I can't explain why, because to explain why is to get into spoilers. So I have a feeling this is going to be something I'm going to be really delving into when we get to the end of the season and I do my season overview when I get into spoilers. But right now, just not happy. You know what, since I'm on a bit of a negative kick, I'm just gonna roll with it. What's your least favorite episode of Game of Thrones? We can talk the entire series, or we can just keep it to this season. However you want to do it, drop something down in the comments and let's talk about it. Until next time, this council is adjourned.